Hi my lovely friends, it's Marta here. Unfortunately, it's been raining the whole day, so I hope you're not gonna be bothered too much by these noises. But I wanted to come in, I wanted to say huge thank you for 12,000 friends joining my YouTube channel. Actually, when I'm recording it, I think it's additional 150 friends joining my channel. So thank you so very much. A very warm welcome to all existing and new friends, and thank you for becoming a part of my sunshine family. Now I do have a couple of the freebies, couple announcements, so stay tuned if you would like to see that. If not, I do have this like a chapter on the screen, so you could move directly to the card making video if you are here for this card making portion. Now for those who would like to stay and see my design, my friends, I do have a couple of the freebies and also a new collection which I want to share with you. All the design are on the Buy Me a Coffee page, and there you can find all the freebies and everything. Now, first and foremost, I wanted to have something more cheerful after the last collection, especially that the days are super gray. It's a lot of rain here recently over the last few days, and I'm just tired. I've already had a cold, I had a sore throat, so I wanted something to cheer me up. So I come up with this celebration time collection, and first thing I'm sharing with you, this is EPHEMERA. This is something you can purchase separately on my Buy Me a Coffee page, and this is a printable design which you can fussy cut. I'm using scanner brother scan and cut machine to cut mine, but you can cut it with the scissors, and I've put it separately because not everyone are using printers so much, so they want to print the whole collections and they just want to have couple extra elements to dress up your cards. So this is something which you can buy separately. Now freebies, I have couple of the design which are for free, and now I do have some designs available on Buy Me a Coffee page, and I also have some on my Facebook group which I will share with you in a second. Now first one is this beautiful, I don't know if you can see, this lovely green design with the flowers, which you can cut different ways. You can have it in a corner, or if you don't want a flowery card, you can also cut the center part, so you will have the pure design here. So this is the design number one. Then I have this lovely design with this beautiful delicate pattern in the center, and then you can kind of like fold it in half, and it's basically making the card on its own. You can just add some focal point, but I thought this will be nice. And then the third one, which I also really like, and this is great for stamping sentiment, for adding the printed wishes as well, and you can also chop it in different orientation, like have the DL size card, the square one. This corner you can actually turn into a little pocket for the gift card or something. So that's your free three free designs on Buy Me a Coffee page. And then on top of that, I do have design which is exclusively available on for my friends who are joining our Facebook group. The link is down below, and then you will go to the album section, and there are some freebies there, and this design will be amongst them. Last but not least, I do have a little extra challenge for everyone. So you can exchange the photo of your card if you make something using my papers, and you go to the Facebook group, put a post there with the paper, and I will send you with your card made with my paper, sorry, and I will send you this PNG file which you can insert over the text. This is the wishes which I write down on a Word, and you can actually embed this PNG file on top of it. You can resize it, so this will create this nice border for your wishes. Now a collection, this time I went a little bit extra because I do have 7 design papers here in the collection, but the whole collection is actually contain 17 printable pages. So let me just quickly show you that. We've got this beautiful design, and this is the same element as the PNG file. So you could have extra if you like to use them. And to all my papers, I like to create the insert portion. So this will be something more plain, which you can use for adding your wishes. Now, one thing I want to share with you is that all my papers, you can actually resize them. So if you like to create the smaller card, you can print them on A5 or even A6 if you like to have them on the smaller card. So just to let you know, you can resize them. Now, second pattern, we've got this beautiful cupcake, butterflies, flowery, very cheerful. And then there's lighter version to it, and then I've produced another insert portion with the wishes. And this is what I did with mine. I firstly print the design, and then I've reprinted second time. So I put it in a printer, design way down, and when it's reprint second time, I had this extra wishes added, and you can see how lovely it looks like when it's used on a card. Then another design which I really like is this beautiful distress design you can see earlier, but this time with lots of different layers, flowers added, and in a lighter version, which will be nice for signing up the wishes, stamping, things like that. Not always we need all the flowery cards, so I thought it will be good to have a little bit more kind of a masculine paper, maybe not entirely masculine, but something you can use for other creations as well. And again, it comes in a lighter version for inside wishes. Now, this paper I really like. Create those flowery border, because then all you really need is just a white piece of the card in the center as your panel, and maybe some bold wishes, and you've got this beautiful card with a lovely border. And then for the inside portion, you have this very pale design which you can print the wishes on top of that. Now, in addition to the blue design I was sharing with you, I have the pink one, and this time I've created this pattern with this little text going behind. So this is the orientation of this paper, but if you use it that way, it's still gonna be looking nice. And again, I've created in the darker version, lighter version, and I've turned it into the insert by using the same background as from the paper, but I only added the different layer to the side. And let me just show you, because I've printed the wishes like that, and this is how it looks like. So instantly when you print the wishes or write down, leave it space like that for the wishes. That will be lovely finish for your card, so they're not only looking nice on the outside but on the inside portion again. Last but not least, I have this design, which is this beautiful flower vase with the blue color. I love this delicate blue color tone, and a little border on this side as well, so you can actually create it like this orientation or that one. It doesn't really matter. It's gonna be looking nice on every direction you're gonna be using it. So I have it in the darker version, lighter, and last but not least, there is also additional freebie to the collection. So whoever will support me and buy the collection, I will have this is the file attached to the collection. You will get those little banners, extra elements, sentiments, which you can use with the papers. So I think it's a little bit a lot information, but thank you so much for staying and watching my papers. And now we're gonna be moving on to the card making portion of the video, so I'll see you in a second. As my first project from this collection, I've decided to create a lovely explosion box. This is something which I made plenty in the past, and I don't even remember when was the last time I was creating one. To create an explosion box, you will need 2 pieces of 12 by 12 cardstock. However, what I like to do, I like to cut mine, one of the papers, around 1/8 of the inch down. So one piece is smaller than the other one, because that way, once you create your box, it's just fitting perfectly. So I'm starting from the smaller piece of paper, which is just 1/8 of the inch smaller than the other one, and I'm scoring it 4 inches from all 4 sides. Do not score, if you trim your paper, do not score at 4 and 8, because it will mess up with your measurement. You have to manually score at 4, turn it, at 4 and again each time, scoring from one side. Then for a larger paper, I also like to twist my paper each time after scoring, and then I score it at 2 and 4. So you can see here that if your paper is slightly smaller, you will still have the same inner section. For the first paper we cut, which is the smallest one, which had the single embossing line at 4 inches, I am chopping away those little pieces on the corner. So it's very simple base, and I should probably take scissors here, but I was trying to fiddle in with a perfectly straight cut line with my trimmer. But if you don't have trimmer, it's fine. You can very easily do it with the scissors. So as you can see here, you kind of end up with like a cross with this little square in the center, and this is very simple. For the top, for the lid part of our explosion box, we have to cut a little bit extra. So what I like to do, once you score it at 2 and 4 on each corner, you will end up in 4 little squares. I am putting the markings on the this squares on the inner one, and this is the one they stay as a flap, and I like to mark them like 2 on one direction and 2 on the opposite. I think that this is the easiest way to put the box together once you have the 2 flaps facing the same direction. Some crafters, they do one flap on each side, so they kind of go in a rotation side, but I do find that putting box together when you have 2 flaps facing down and 2 flaps facing upward, it's just way easier. You will see that in a minute. What I like to do, once I trim these little pieces, and never throw away those additional squares which you have. They are great for cutting little embellishment. For example, here I will be cutting some leaves which I will be using on this particular project, but save them for later. And if you have like a little hearts, little leaves or flowers, this is you know, that will be a great way to use those little pieces. So here you can see how those 2 pieces looks like. I'm gonna be starting from dressing up the bottom part, and here I will be using my pencil. You could go by measurements, but because I trim my paper a little bit, it's not gonna be exactly a square, so it's way better to use the pencil mark. And here I am chopping it accordingly to my little dots, and don't worry, you can always erase those pencil marks later so no one will see it. And once I have one strip, I'm automatically cutting 2 pieces from one, so that way you know, I'm just saving myself a job. Another very important thing, if you know that the flaps of your explosion box, they're not gonna be exactly a full square, I like to keep them, you know, keep tracing the arrows so I know which direction they are going, and later on I'm not gonna be twisting them and accidentally cutting it wrong size. Once I have all 4, I am adding adhesive, and this is very important. Use your finger to smear the glue to go exactly right up till the edges. That way you will have this nice professionally finished look, so it's not going to be any, you know, paper standing out or those like ugly holes. What I like to do as well is to go over with my bone folder and really firmly press through those papers. It's not only gripping instantly, like the glue is adhering way better, it also prevents paper from warping, because any moisture you have from the glue, like if you have like a larger blob of glue, you will kind of smear it with your bone folder, and that way my paper, even though I'm working with the liquid adhesive, they're not getting warped up. Now I'm gonna be adding a little layer for the flaps on my lid. and for that I want to use this paper. However, I am desperate to try to save those little borders, so I've made myself a little extra work, but it wasn't as bad. I just trimmed them with my scissors, and then I just had to do a couple extra cutting line to in order to get perfect rectangles. This is not something like you have to do. It's just I wanted to save those little pieces on the both ends, because I have the card idea where I want to use it. Here I am again working with my pencil, and I just find that apart from the guillotine, like a hot glue, the pencil is my best friend in a craft room. Let me know what kind of a tools is the most used one by you. I love to know like what is the one goodie you cannot live without, like, you know, if you have to just keep one or three, let's say three or five. Okay, five. The top five tools you're using in your craft room, and I tell you mine. For me, that will be definitely my guillotine, my hot glue gun, pencil, scissors, and a printer, because I love printing the design. So I think with this set I would definitely be able to, you know, make the majority of my cards. That will be my top five. And of course, if I could squeeze, I would also add the die cutting machine and all the dies, but that's just creating more gear. With the scissors I can fussy cut all the ephemera pieces, and I could easily chop, maybe not super straight, but definitely like create some layers, cut some circles or rectangles with the scissors. And this is what we used to did. I don't know if anyone is crafting for a longer time, but there was a long time for me before I actually had my first trimmer, and I was just trying to fussy cut with the scissors. And then I've watched the YouTube tutorial. Oh, I cannot remember who was the crafter to actually introduce me to the X-Acto knife. And I had this metal ruler and X-Acto knife, and oh my goodness, I was just that was crazy, like, you know, cutting time in my little craft room. I didn't even had a craft room. My first crafting space was on the kitchen counter, and I had this little like not the cupboard, it was like a half a cupboard, because it was just a one door, and this was underneath this like a, we had this like a kitchen bar, and there was this shelf underneath with single door, and I kept all my crafting gear there. So anytime I was crafting, I had to put everything away in order to, you know, cook. uh, so a little memory for you now. What I'm doing here, everyone can see. So with dressing the explosion box, is just a matter of cutting all those squares and rectangles and just fill in the you know, spaces. I like to dress my pieces, like especially for the top layer, like on the lid. I like to give them a double layer, because I think it's just giving that extra touch, and it's definitely looking way better. But this is just personal preference. The one layer will still look really good, but I thought this like a little extra thin pink you know, border around these blue panels, it will be looking really nice. And this is very important for any shadow box, explosion box, anything like that. Dress your pieces down before you will adhere it, because once you put your lid together, once you create it as dimensional shadow frame or something, it's very hard to kind of adhere everything, you know, nicely, because it's way harder to you know, add that pressure, because you don't want to squish it. Once it's all dressed, as you know, the all the layers are put, I will be adhering the glue and putting it together. And for that I am adding the liquid adhesive on two flaps, and then on this extra top flap on the last one. And here I am just closing down, making sure I meet the corners. So this is the most important thing. And once I fold this second flap on the inside, I am very firmly you know, pressing it with my bone folder. I repeat the exactly same step on the other side, and as you can see here, I am adding the glue just to the top flap, and then once you put it together, you make sure that your corners are nice and neat. And then you turn it upside down and you really firmly, you just want to work it out all those corners, so your box will be nicely finished. I think those extra flaps and adding the glue on the towards the edge of the flaps is just making the game changer, because your boxes are nicely closed. Here I had a little extra corner of the decorative paper not glued properly, so I am adding little extra dash of the glue there, and as you can see here, everything is just looking nicely and professionally. And I find that working with the liquid adhesive for the construction like that, whether it's a explosion box, pop-up box, or any kind of a shadow box, anything else, it's way easier to do it with the liquid adhesive rather than trying to fiddle with the double-sided foam tape. A double-sided tape, sorry, not foam though. That was my mistake. But at the beginning of my crafting adventure, I've seen lots of crafters using the double-sided tape and those tape runners. They were very popular. But one thing I want to tell you, I have a bunch of the cards which, when we were moving, I was kind of clearing up my old studio and packing everything, and I had tons of the cards which I found they were like 8 years old, things like that. The tape runner, it's the adhesive is drying out and the card are start falling off. Obviously we don't make the cards for them to be, lasting forever, but especially for those of you who are selling the cards, you do want to kind of make sure they last as long as the recipient wants to keep them, because there's nothing worse than you kind of sell a card to someone and after like 1 year or year and a half, the card is start falling apart and the layers are coming off. Liquid adhesive, once it will grip, it will grip. Here I am adding a little extra square on the bottom of my explosion box. I don't glue it just now, because too many times what I did, I dress up my box, and when I close it, it turned out that this extra piece on the bottom was upside down. So I leave it at last till I'm actually dressing the inside part of my explosion box. And here again, I'm starting the exactly the same thing as I did on the outside. I know that the explosion box may seems like a little extra work, but to be fair, I did mine in, I don't know, like 1 hour and 45 minutes, I think. And it was worth it. If you are creating like one of the kind like welcome baby or special birthday, like you could put like a large number on the center part, for example. Imagine yourself cutting couple layers of the large number and created like three-dimensional topper. That will be looking cool in the inside portion of the exploding box as well. Here I've cut all the elements from this blue color pattern paper, and now I am adding top layer using one of the insert portion. And for this layer, I'm actually trying to orient all the squares, so they're kind of automatically bring you the orientation of the exploding box. So these pieces, they will be like coming up to all four corners, like on the bottom and on the top, so that way it's on its own, it already create this nice composition on the inside. If you would like, you can also stamp some extra sentiments, because this insert paper is very pale. You could actually stamp directly on it or print something as well, and I think it will be just looking nice as it is. However, for my explosion box, I've added 4 pieces, like square pieces, on the all edges, and now because I know the orientation of my box, I can add this little vase on the back side, and this is gonna be the place where I will adhere my name. I have this little like extra tab with my name, which I will be adding on the bottom piece. And I don't like when you have all corners, all pieces of your card, you know, dressed down, and then there's white piece on the back. I just feel that that little extra piece of the cardstock, it's not really, you know, it's just a matter of 30 more seconds to cut it and adhere it there. Now I cut additional like a doily, and I am putting it up with my like I'm giving it a little bit extra dimension with my double-sided foam tape. To complete my card, I actually went to my computer and I designed a little extra image with the baby, and I also create the sentiment saying bundle of joy and a little extra like a metrica with the baby name, weight, time when the baby was born. And I think this explosion box will be a great as the welcome baby gift. You could add additional extra space on the top of the lid, like behind once you open it. You could add additional space for adding your like a gift card, or you can add the gift card to one of the flaps and give it to someone as the welcome baby gift. So this was my idea. I'm trying to give you something like, you know, you could use in your crafting, but not necessarily doesn't have to be a welcome baby. You could use the birthday or any other occasion you would like, or even like maybe anniversary or something, dependingly what you would like to do. And this kind of the explosion box, it gives you a lot of the opportunities to add a lot of different things. Like you could add the little panel with wishes, you can add some photography, or like for the baby you can add this little like a what is it, like a birth metric with all the details, like what was the weight of the baby, or the date, time, length, whatever you would like. So there's lots of different things you can do with the explosion box, and it's something extra on top of the different card. Like, you know, this is this unique design that if you create it for someone, I'm sure that the recipient will be having that wowzer effect. For us crafters, obviously, like creating a pop-up card or explosion card, it's something we see very often, so it may not create the same wow effect, but I guarantee it to you that if you are making a card for someone who doesn't have anything to do with card making, when they get explosion box and they open it up and the card is just, you know, opening to all these little extra bits, this always create this wow effect. So for my card, I am adding this ephemera bits from the collection, and I'm using here the sentiments which are included in the collection, as well as this additional pieces which I was sharing with you at the beginning of the video. And I'm trying to create nice kind of a spread of different, you know, layers. I have this rocking horse, I have this baby pram, couple butterflies, cupcakes, anything like, you know, which is cute and like kind of a baby theme. Once I finish, I am gonna be dressing the top part of the lid. And because this video is already very long, I'm just gonna create the simple composition on the top. I'm adding a piece of the blue color cardstock, a sentiment. I have a couple of the flowers, and here I'm just trying to figure out which orientation to put my sentiment. Should it be straight or under the angle? But I think it's just looking nice like that. And then I have some flowers, and of course those white leaves which I've cut from the little squares which we usually toss to the bin once we cut the flaps from the explosion box. But you can see here it's always worth to cut a couple extra bits from that paper, because it's paper anyway. And here I am finishing up my box with the bow and a couple extra bits like a butterfly, cupcake and the little present. So my video is going to end. I hope you enjoyed this idea I have for you today. Let me know if you would like to see more videos like that. Please let me know what you think about the collection, if this is something you would like to see more, like a baby, you know, things like that, baby theme papers. Here you can see the close-up look. So my friends, I accidentally cut the last part of the video, and here is the box back again. I just want to quickly say thank you so much for watching my tutorials. I hope you enjoyed this one as well. And now don't forget about the freebies, both on the Buy Me a Coffee page and on our Facebook group, as well as the challenge to get the free PNG file. That will be me for today. I will be back with another video shortly, and I wish you all a fabulous day. Stay blessed, my friends, and bye bye.